Hey, hey, y'all. All right. I apologize. I sneezed. What's up, everybody? Welcome to No Reps Left Behind. We are right at 2 o'clock, so Central. So depending on where you're at, could be three, could be two, could be one. But we'll get started. So we'll give 2 minutes here for everybody to be able to jump in. This one's kind of always a fun one. So topic of this one is your proposal sucks. And it is meant to hurt a little bit, but it's probably more educational than that side to where we're going to be talking about when you create a proposal, right? We've talked about all this beautiful discovery and how we can mend the world between what our client sees, which is the stained ceiling tile, to the roof, all that kind of different fun stuff. But most of the time, as roofers, we go back and we give them a proposal with a bunch of roofing jargon on it that no one understands. Was through the same situation yesterday where we delivered a bid and client came back to someone that I'm working with and was like, "Hey, you're $200,000 high." It's just like, right? There's something so drastically wrong that no roofing contractor has $200,000 baked into their proposal to ultimately lose this to a fatality of pricing, right? So we're going to go through that today. If you guys are dealing with any type of issue to where you feel that you got this awesome connection with your customer to find out that you give them a proposal and then something goes wrong, we're going to talk about that today because there is a way to eliminate that. There is a way to be able to stop all of the crazy unknowns that happen when you deliver a proposal. And it can be anything from, I got to take this to my boss, to, wow, you guys are a lot higher than all my other bids, to whatever else might have come up. The idea inside everything that we're training, everything we talk about in No Reps is ultimately that we're going to eliminate the maybes, right? First thing, we don't need maybes because nobody buys on maybe. And the second thing is clarity and confidence that you and your customer are both going to the same place. So this is always a fun one. David, welcome, sir. Yeah,
Guys,
yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm gonna give one more minute 'cause I still got people rolling in, which is awesome. All right, so let's talk about this. Put a reason in the chat because one person already did it and I love it. Put something in the chat that's happened to you recently where you delivered the proposal and tell me what went sideways. They said they got to take it to their boss. They said, wow, this price is astronomically high. They said, or what happened, right? To where you thought you had this perfect world aligned that you're going to deliver this proposal. The customer's going to be so happy that you delivered the proposal to find that something went left or right. And we're going to talk about how you eliminate that today and how you get alignment with your customer, right? It's just not good discovery, but it's actually going in and getting complete alignment before you deliver the proposal, which is going to lead us into what we're going to talk about down the road, which is ultimately proposal power. Or when you hand that proposal over, guys, plan to never talk to that client again. I know it's hard to say, and I know sometimes it's hard to be able to understand that, but you don't go back and ask for the sale. You don't go back in and check in. Once that proposal is handed over to that customer, they know inside their head, yep, it aligns. Yep, I like this guy. Yep, I'm going to go with them. Or, yep, I'm going to get another bid. And if that's the case, you guys are missing the mark. I know we've talked a lot about that, but this is where a lot of the train, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about the last few weeks gets real, right? Because now we're at the point that we've done the discovery, we've done the diagnosis. We're going to be talking about demonstration today because that's really where you position yourself as an expert inside the room and you give them the solution to their problem or give them the solution, or let's just say the pathway to be able to get to their goals. So that's what we're going to be covering today. David, anything top of mind for you, sir?
nobody cares about the roof.
That's harsh.
Nobody cares about the roof.
Harsh. That's a good book title, isn't it?
It is. Somebody should write that.
I don't know. One cares. All right.
Trademark.
Welcome, y'all. All right, cool. So let's do this. You're more than 5 minutes late. That's on you. So here's what we're gonna do. So topic of the day is you emailed the proposal. That's one of the grittiest things that I always hear. It's like, no, I got the proposal over to him and I emailed it to him. And to me, that's doing all this beautiful work for us to be able to get to the point to be able to say, here you go, make your own assumptions. Here you go. Assume that you know what to do. Here you go. These are, pick the deficiencies that you like. And that's the furthest from what we're trying to be able to be a trusted advisor. So that's what we're going on today. If you email proposals, blindly email proposals, because you know what, your service manager or your sales manager or whoever just got you the bid, it's like, man, yeah, I'm going to get that out. I'm going to email it real quick. That way I can put it as quoted on my board. This webinar is for you guys. So here's what we're going to roll with is the basic intros that you guys see each time. Welcome to No Reps Left Behind. The objective of this is to be able to help all sales reps get better. I call it raising the floor. My name is Chad Westbrook. I'm the founder of Sales Alignment and Service Alignment. And I've really focused on ultimately the commercial roofing industry. That's where my career has mostly been, with a specific niche right into the service side. So if you look at some of my background, I've been involved in some of the largest service initiatives in the US, and I'd say absolutely the largest preventative maintenance initiatives throughout the entire United States. And that all goes in to being a trusted advisor, having clients that trust what you bring to the table. And that just doesn't happen overnight. And I'll say what happens more than not is people lose trust in roofers because they get screwed over, or they feel that they paid more than the value that they got, or whatever other experience it might be. A lot of times, guys, that's what you're going up and battling, is every bad experience that your customer had. And I'm here to be able to break that down, show you how you can overcome that, right? Bad customers don't just automatically show up, and good customers do not just show up. They're trained. They're exposed to different things that they like or don't like, and that's what makes them who they are. And that's part of what we're unpacking. So that's who I am.
Hey guys, David Bonney, founder of 45. I come from the fast growing software world, where if you weren't doubling in size every single year, you were doing something wrong. And the key thing in that world is private equity pours tens of millions of dollars into your business, and you have to figure out how to go effectively invest that. And the key thing that we learned is people don't fix problems. The more people you add, the worse things get. So in terms of sales and revenue specifically, you had to build high-performing teams. The team you had to be performing at a very, very high level if you were going to get any more investment from the CEO and from the executive team. So as we were doing that hard work and building those teams, we noticed consistencies. The key to building high-performing teams is about having systems and processes that hungry salespeople can go implement and execute consistently and get results. And as I came out of that world, I came into commercial roofing. That's where I met Chad about 3 years ago, and we went on a really cool run at a company together. And we noticed that we can do that for more companies. We can help more salespeople. So here we are, taking the learnings from 15 plus years on my side, 15 plus years on Chad's side, and giving it to you guys so you can make as much money as you want to make and provide for the people that you care for the most, and serve the company that allows you to do it all.
So I'm going to take a little bit of a detour here, because we've never really unpacked your side, David. And I'm going to challenge everybody that's listening to this, whether you're live or post or wherever it is. If I had $100,000, okay, it wouldn't be that big of a briefcase. But let's just say it's in a briefcase, $100,000, maybe it's all in one bill, right? And I was to give it to you, how could you increase your business? Because you can't buy customers, right? You can't buy time in front of your customers. You can't buy a meeting with your customer, right? Or your prospect, or your dream customer, or whoever it is. And that's kind of what David was saying as he was kind of explaining this, right? Is that there's a company that comes in that heavily invests. And you're a sales rep, you guys have a book of business, right? And you're expected to be able to grow that book of business. And really what's coming down is that David had to grow this through process. He had to grow this through knowing and understanding that each minute that he spent, right? That's the most valuable thing that we have, is time. Is that he had to do it in such a way that was beneficial. And to me, I guess that just kind of clicked inside my head, David, right? Like if I was to hand $100,000 to anybody here, how much could you grow your business?
Right.
And my guess is, if you don't have a scalable process, you're going to blow that money. You're like, I'm going to buy billboards, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And none of it is guaranteed growth.
Right.
So what we're talking about here is giving you guys this business model, this independent business model that you guys are going to be able to utilize again and again and create that consistent success where it doesn't matter if you have $100,000 in a briefcase or not, right? The fact is that are you qualifying them correctly and are you bringing value to the table? Because at the end of the day, $100,000 isn't going to get you nothing unless you got the people, the process, right, the technology that aligns all that kind of different stuff. So think about that, guys. Every one of you are independent owners of your destiny. And if you guys don't have that process down, you are going to fall right to the level of your systems. So it's interesting to be able to think about like that. And I challenge you guys to think about that you got your own business. You got your own business, your own book of business that you're running, right? How can you make your own book of business efficient or more efficient or better to be able to get more out of there? And the answer is not money. The answer is process. So here's where we're going to dive. So number 3, not loading quick enough for me. 68%. This is the number of potential buyers that do not want to interact with a sales rep during their buying process. And if you think about this, the automation of being able to go into, let's just say Amazon, right, and buy something off Amazon, and then the opposite world, which really Carvana and a lot of different things like that are still doing the same exact thing. They're automating this entire process. And if you think about truly 68% of people don't want to talk to you. Like that's a big, big number. And the reason for that is because most salespeople are trying to sell something that the customer doesn't need. They have a product and they're trying to get the customer to be able to buy the product. And what we're going to be going through today is really tying in, right? The customer's problem, the customer's goal, and how you can help them solve that issue. And that's when you step out of that salesperson, right? And you start stepping into that trusted advisor, sitting on the same side of the table to where you're not selling anything. That's the mindset that you guys got to get. You're not selling anything. You're helping customers solve problems. And there's 3 questions, right, that you need to ask. Number 1, is this customer's problem big enough that they're actually going to do something about it? And you have to be honest with yourself and honest with the customer. If it's not big enough, that's okay. Number 2, right, which we've already went through, do they need new or outside services? Which means you can't be afraid to ask the question, do they actually need outside service? Do you need help with this? Why don't you just use who you got? You have to be able to ask those questions to be able to separate yourself from what is a salesperson into a trusted advisor. Dave, you want to take us through the buyer-seller misalignment, sir?
Yeah. So a lot of times, guys, and I know this has been like a fluffy topic. You gotta care. You gotta solve people's problems, and it's most often been interpreted as this like, come on, really, dude? I gotta sell. I gotta hit quota. No, guys, like we're getting so much pushback. It's 2024. We are getting so much pushback from potential buyers and prospects. There's so much friction in the relationship that is ultimately the biggest obstacle in our way of actually doing the thing that we need to do. So if the goal is to hit quota, you can't just go out and try to selfishly hit quota. You can't go out there and just want to sell your stuff. We have to solve problems, right? We have to help people solve the problems that they're dealing with, because this wall of disconnect that we're talking about here is the big issue that has gotten in the way. But guys, if we help people solve their biggest problems, they are going to choose us more often than not. So if we just get aligned with them and help them do the very thing that they are trying to do, we will hit our goal in process of doing that. Now, we understand that takes trust, but that's why in our programs and even in this stuff, in one of the sessions that we have here where we talk about the magic of numbers, the magic trick, guys, you should have enough activity and you should have a strategic plan that you don't need any one specific deal to close. If that's what you're doing to hit quota, you're doing it wrong. Get your activity where it needs to be and then get out there and help people solve their freaking problems, and you will succeed at levels that you've never thought were possible before. And we're talking 2 million, 2.5 million, 3 million in service alone, not to mention the re-roof and negotiated opportunities that come off of that. So there's such a vast opportunity here. We just have to solve this issue of buyer-seller misalignment. You want to hit quota, they want to solve their problem. Guess what? They win. They will win every single time. So start helping them and everything else will fall into place for you.
And this is where the no one cares about the roof comes in, right? Because if we were to flip this, they want to solve their problems. And we talk about this, right? And all of this training, what is their problem? Their problem is not the roof leak. They might tell you that, right? It's like, yeah, I got a roof leak. Can you come out and fix it? That's not the problem. The problem is the water on what the water or what the damage issue, whatever it might be, is causing, right? The ceiling tile that fell down on someone's desk, the water inside the floor. I mean, I've been on multiples where I've had gutters hanging off the side of the buildings, right? And we have a life safety event. I've had issues where it's rolling in the backside of the wall and it's right near the electrical panel. And now we got water on electrical panels. They know what their problem is. And some problems are absolutely going to be bigger than other problems. So step one inside all this, guys, is understand this is not about the roof. Yes, that might be the resolution of the repairs, the deficiencies that you need to fix in order to get the reality back. But this whole buyer-seller misalignment is, if you truly don't understand the problems that they're trying to solve, you can't quantify it, right? You can't move away from price, because if they're just saying, hey, I need, 35 fasteners replaced, who can do it the cheapest? I'm not going to be there. You won't find me bidding that project because I'm going to be commoditized, and the value that's going to come from that post sale is zero, which means the guy's going to do the same thing over and over again. Then when you get to the stuff that you want to sell, I know you guys want to sell roofing, but if you don't understand, right, that big ponding area, I can tell you, depending on what's underneath there, what they're protecting, under what that roof is protecting, is dependent on if they want to put a cricket inside there, they're just going to let it be. Right? If there's $1 million machine underneath it, they're probably going to care a lot more than if it's just an open concrete floor in a paint bay. Right? Whatever it might be, that's why I say you have to understand what's underneath there. And the buyer-seller misalignment is beautiful for that, right? They want to solve their problems. You want to sell your stuff. And as long as you continue to try to deliver a roofing proposal and talk roofing to the individuals, they're not going to understand it. Because if they do understand it, they're probably getting it done themselves. Right? That's checkpoint number 2. How do you get away from that? Right? How do you disqualify that? So I'm going to give you 3 reasons on why your guys' proposals suck. And number 1 is that poor discovery creates prospect confusion. Okay. When your client is confused, they do not act. They don't do anything. If you guys have ever heard of analysis paralysis, right? There's so much information. There's so many options. I don't know what to do. So I don't do anything. That is all too common within our industry, that we're trying to sell reflashing scuppers and coping and whatever else is up on the roof, that we have terminology that no one understands. So if we don't have the ability to be able to make this easy for them to understand, that I understand the classroom is closed down and you had to be able to move the kids to the gym to be able to do it, that's what they're trying to solve. Now, you can still communicate what the problems are. You can still communicate a scope of work, but you need to understand, again, that buyer-seller misalignment is that when you guys don't do good discovery, when all of a sudden you guys hear that they have a roof leak and you're like, no problem, can we jump up on the roof? And you skip everything that we've talked about over the last 6 weeks. You're only hurting yourself. You're only commoditizing yourself. You're only downgrading the value, right, that you guys can truly bring to the table. I'm going to urge you guys, slow down the sale. Do good discovery. I'm going to give a real world scenario that I've ran into a lot. All of a sudden, there's an opportunity that comes. They call into the office, or you call them, you stop by, whatever, however it came, right? And he says, yes, no, I am replacing my roof. I'm going to be making a decision in the next couple of weeks. Can you get me a proposal next week? And then for some odd reason, that sales rep that I'm working with is happy about this. And from a leadership side, I'm scared of this, guys, because now I know this individual is replacing the roof. He's already got a budget. He's already got multiple bids. And he said, you know what? If you want to give me a proposal by next week, I'll take a look at it. And then we're expected to be able to get to the job as fast as we can, do the fastest, quickest survey that we possibly can, maybe even order it offline, right? We can bid it that way. And core, yeah, we'll trust what they said about the core. We're not going to do cores up there. And then all of a sudden we're going to rush this through estimating. And you know what estimating is? Google it. It's a guess, right? And the more uncertainty that we have with the bids that we're putting together is the more fluff or more margin for error that we're going to have, which means the price is going to go up, guys. And we're going to waste all of our time trying to get this proposal to this customer that said he has a replacement, that's going to award it inside 2 weeks, that my salesman is super happy that we're going to get a chance. Oh, I'm going to put a re-roof on the board. I'm going to quote it. I'm going to be kick ass. All because we missed the discovery side that he had to have 3 bids. He has a primary roofer that he worked with for a couple years. He's got 2 other bids. He's pretty sure he knows who he's going with. But if you want to deliver a proposal, I'll take a look at what you have. If you guys recognize the passion inside that story, guys, I've lived that life way too many times. And that's because we skipped discovery. We skipped a true discovery. If you want a good bid from me, I assume you want me to take my time, and I assume you don't want some half-ass bid that I'm throwing together, not getting real material prices and assuming that I'm going to be able to get a lift and a dumpster out there for X amount of dollars. He doesn't want that job. He doesn't want to use you at that point. So don't be that contractor. Sometimes you have to slow jobs down. And it's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know what? This probably isn't the right project for me. How can I get an opportunity at the next one so I can put together the right solution for you and we can spend enough time on it? I have gotten way more opportunities doing that. And I can't even count even one opportunity that I've gotten literally slinging it to, hey, here's what needs to go on. Normally come back, he goes, yep, you're super high. And I'm going to say, I don't have enough time to revise it. And it's dead. But yet I wasted 10 plus hours of my time getting that bid out there. So reason number 1 on why your proposals suck is that poor discovery creates prospect confusion. Prospect confusion means that he's going to do whatever it's easy for him to do. Okay? That means it's easy for him to be able to look at this proposal. They're all 60 mil TPO roofs. They all have a 20-year NDL. This one's the cheapest. Let's go for it. Now, I didn't tell you about the decking that we had to do. I didn't tell you about the wet insulation, right? That wasn't included inside that low number. Those are going to be change orders, right, guys? And I know I'm talking roofing specifically, but this is what I say. Poor discovery creates prospect confusion. And when there's prospect confusion, they don't make good choices. They make choices based upon their education. You're the expert inside the room, and someone who is not an expert is making a long-term 20-year decision on the largest asset that they have. That's crazy to me. Slow it down, do good discovery, don't jeopardize speed or bypass the sales process. Don't do it. It'll always result inside you guys losing, right? You get the job, that's great, but there's a very big variable inside there that something's going to be screwed up along the way, and it's going to be hard. There's going to be more change orders. And at the end of the day, I don't want one sale, and I can assume you guys don't want one sale. You want a lot of sales. You want that customer to come back to you. So do it right the first time. You want to take us through buyer's intent, David?
Yep. So again, guys, I'm sure you've heard all this stuff before. You gotta consult, you gotta help, you gotta be the trusted advisor. There's an undertone in so much of that says, yeah, you got to do that so that you got to act like you're serving somebody so you can really get yours. And it's so inauthentic, and you just reek of a salesperson when you try to do that stuff. But there's no explanation, at least that we've seen, of anybody breaking down, well, what does it mean to actually serve our prospects? What does it mean to be their trusted advisor? What are we advising them on? Why do they need us other than just to give them a price? Well, they do need us for more than just a price, because they're coming in with an intention when they're going into the buying process. And it's the vast majority of prospects. Now, we're not talking about professional buyers. We're not talking about those scenarios. We're talking about the average buyer that you're dealing with. They're coming in with a core intention. If you can help them with that intention, you will be their trusted advisor. You will be serving them. So what is their intention? Well, their intention is they intend to find a solution, hopefully the best solution, to solve the actual problems, because they don't know what the problems are. They need to figure out what the actual problems are, because they're not an expert in this, causing them enough pain. It can't just be a little bit annoying, because more painful things will take precedence. It has to be causing them enough pain, and it has to be keeping them from important outcomes. Okay. If they are actually going out and engaging in the process, those 4 things are their intention. Well, what is our intention as a trusted advisor? Well, we intend to help them find the best solution, even if it's not us. I'll tell you what, guys, the best salespeople out there will point people in another direction if their company isn't the best. Reason being is because they don't want to deal with the pissed off customer because they have too much stuff going on. They don't want to bring somebody through that's ultimately not going to be happy. They're more than happy to point them in a different direction. And guess what? They get referrals from those prospects. They benefit from that decision. So as trusted advisors, we intend to help them find a solution to solve their actual problems, causing them enough pain, keeping them from important outcomes. And when we do that, we will get repeat business from those people because we will become a trusted source. We will become a strategic partner with them. We will be on their side of the table, helping them figure out the things that they are trying to figure out. They will bring us into the conversation before they bring anybody else in. And that's how we grow accounts. That's how we get a large share of wallet. That's how we transition very quickly from hunting to farming. You don't have to be in the game 15 to 20 years to have all these accounts that you're just farming all day. You can actually do it pretty quickly if you just engage in the right process up front of acquiring new customers and then treating those customers continually as their strategic partner, helping them accomplish what they need and want to accomplish.
I like your energy level today.
Well, I did a little pre-workout,
Mine,
did a little
I like that.
pre-workout. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a Red Bull, whatever it is, just keep doing it. I like it. So the one thing that I'll add to what David said is great salesmen do not have massive book of businesses. Okay. I can think specifically, and this is more on an account management side, right? But you think about multi-million-dollar sales reps, they don't have 300 customers. Okay. And that's what David was kind of saying, the hunting versus farming side. They don't have 300 plus customers, guys. They have a group core amount of customers, right? Could be 5, could be 10, could be 15, 20, whatever it takes, right? In order for them to be able to figure out what the wallet share is, like you said, or what the worth of that client is. And there's absolutely ways to be able to figure that out. But that's what I'm trying to say. The best book of businesses, guys, are not 300 opportunities where you're literally sifting through, figuring out what's going to
Right.
sell. That's how you
Right.
get a horrible close ratio because you're quoting everything you possibly can, and then you're losing more than you're winning.
Oh,
When you put a good discovery process in place, it allows you to be able to qualify and, more importantly, disqualify, right? Disqualifying to me is I'm much more worried about how I'm going to save time. And I'm going to save time, not wasting it with clients that have no intentions of buying or don't have a problem big enough to solve. Right. And that leads us right back into the buyer's action plan. Now, there was a question that came through earlier in the chat, and it was right along the sides of, I'm working with somebody, he wants me to do free inspections, and if I can't turn the free inspections around fast enough, he gets upset. And what I'm going to assume inside this is you're like, man, I need to do the inspections. I need to stock the shelves. If I don't have deficiencies, I can't sell anything, which is all true, 100% true, right? Don't quote it, never sell it. However, my question to that individual who asked the question is, did they check the boxes? Are they telling you what their problem is or what their goal is? Because just because you go and say, hey, I just acquired the building, I don't think we have any leaks, that means no problem. Okay. So tell me what you're trying to achieve with a report like this. What's your goal of a report, right? If we're going to do a full inspection, we're going to do a full analysis, it's going to be some kick-ass report. Awesome. Tell me what we're going to achieve. Tell me how you're going to use this data. Because that has put me inside a massive trusted advisor spot way, way more than just delivering the proposal and letting them decipher it themselves. To be able to say, how do you plan to use this data? I understand it's going to educate you on the condition of the roof. I understand that. How do you plan to use it? Are you going to use it for budgets? Are you going to use it to be able to share with the tenants? Sometimes inside a multi-tenant location, the tenants are responsible if they're on a triple net. So they're going to expect it and they're going to say, hey, you're required to be able to maintain this. I've had that happen where they bill back, right? I've got a Chinese restaurant that has grease all over the building, and now all of a sudden the tenant has to take care of it. Understanding what your customer is going to do with that data is massive, massive, massive when it comes to being a trusted advisor. And I know I'm specifically addressing the one question that came in, but if you have that customer just like, hey, yeah, I got a portfolio of 15. If you want to go inspect and go for it, say, yeah, I have no problem inspecting them. Talk to me about how you're going to use the data for those 15 reports. How can I help you, right? How can I craft those proposals So they work the best for you. So you can either A, solve the problem that you're trying to solve or get to the goal that you're trying to get to, because I want to be at the table with you when that happens. So I go back to the buyer's action plan because this is the qualification or the disqualification that you guys should be following. And we've tried to make it as easy as possible. It's 3 check boxes, right? Checkbox number 1, do they need to act? Right? So we went through this. Number 1, their objective. Do they know why they scheduled the meeting? Why'd they take time out of their day to be able to meet with you? I'm going to assume it's not just because they like meeting new people, right? We have that entire talk track down. When people sit down with me, there's typically a problem or a goal they're trying to achieve, and it allows you to be able to understand which way that conversation is going to go. Number 2, are decision makers present, right? We always talk about authority versus responsibility. Who has the responsibility of gaining the bids? Who has the authority to sign it? Because if everybody's not there, we got a problem, guys. Because that is exactly what happens when we first started this, right? I gave the proposal and they're like, you know what? I'm going to give it to my boss and I'll let you know what he says. Boom. Somebody else is selling your job. Somebody else has to do all the work, all the clarity, all the different work that you did. It goes to somebody else. And I have had many times where that individual that it goes to doesn't want to do the work because of some crazy explanation that truly the MOD that I worked with didn't even know. Get the right people inside the room. Have they tried to solve this and failed? Right? There's a lot of pain in this question. It's a very weighted, heavy question. Have they tried to solve this in the past and failed? We need to know. If they've already replaced all the fasteners on the metal roof, well, I better not go up there and do that. Right? I need to know if they just invested $15,000 in repairs and it didn't work. That helps me understand what type of pain they're in and is also going to say, do they need to act? Right? It's going to help me define that. And then finally, 1 through 10, do they actually need to do something about it? What's the priority? Let them rate it. It's only awkward if you make it awkward because what you're trying to do is help them solve a problem. And if you can't understand the problem, how are you supposed to help them solve it? Trust me, throwing a product or a service out the door just because someone has a roof leak, it's like, I can fix roof leaks. It's not going to get you the trust advisor aside. You're going to win the job if you're low price. And I assume we're not all here because we want to win jobs because of low price. Number 2, do they need new or outside help? This is where it really, really comes down to leveling with the customer. Do they understand the actual problems that need to be solved? Yes or no? And it's your job as that trusted advisor to figure out what those bigger problems are, right? We have water coming on an electrical panel. That sounds pretty crazy. That sounds like a pretty big issue. What happens if that shorts out? I asked that question. It was $20,000 that he said he had to spend to be able to rewire everything when it shorted out. Real world. Right? That was instant justification that this is a problem. It's happening again. It's already happened. This guy knows this is an issue and we need to fix it right and for life. Real world. Are the expected outcomes enough to fund a solution, right? So if we were to fix this, how does that change your life? How does that change the business? How does that change what you guys do? You have to ask the question. Don't ever, ever assume, and that's part of what we're doing. Do they have an adequate budget? Right? So I'm not asking how much they have to spend. I'm trying to figure out, have they ever bought something like this before? Because if your point of contact has never went through the process, he could be learning just as much as you. And that allows you to be even a better trusted advisor if you and him are taking that journey together, rather than, again, you handing the proposal to him and saying, you know what, here you go, dude. Gotta let me know how it goes. And then he's on this lost adventure trying to sell your proposal, not even knowing how to request a budget. You guys can help him through that, especially if you guys have been inside that world and you understand how budgets work and how corporations work. You can be a trusted advisor, not only to the building, but also to him. I've been in those situations many times, and it puts you in an amazing spot to have a great relationship. And then, do they have the internal resources to be able to solve this? It's a real question you need to ask. Why don't you guys just do it yourself? If you don't ask this question, what's going to happen is you guys are going to deliver a proposal at some point in time that's fasteners, sealants, or some cleaning out drains or something like that. And if you don't understand why they just aren't going to do it themselves, they might do it themselves, which means you're going to lose this due to internal competition. You're going to give a proposal for $1,200, and it might be completely logical for whatever's going to happen, but he's going to send a guy up there with a DeWalt drill replacing fasteners. And if you don't talk through the downfalls and the risks of being able to do that, right? You got to have the neoprene washers. They can't be over tightened. They can't be under tightened. If you're not educating them, if you're not sitting there as a trusted advisor on how to get that stuff done, he can make the wrong decision unknowingly. right? We already said it, confused customer, do not act. This is about being that trusted advisor. The last part is, do we have the right solution? And we're going to get a little bit deeper into that today, right? So do we have a proven history of solving this? I surely do not want to give a proposal to someone who has never done this before. You guys have to have social proof. How are you guys an expert when it comes to replacements, new construction, liquid membranes, repairs and maintenance, preventative maintenance? Tell them. What makes you guys awesome? How have you guys solved this problem for somebody else? And what's the success that they had? Are they clear on how your specific solution solves their problem? And if it's not your specific solution, if it's not your secret sauce, guess what? Anybody can do it. So you have to be able to position yourself not only as an expert, but a very, very specific way that you get it done. That is your company's secret sauce. How do you guys get that? You have to know that. If you don't have that outline, I'm challenging you guys. That's what you need to do. That's what you should do today, is figure that out, because you have to separate yourself from everybody else. Otherwise, they're either going to compare you, commoditize you, or award it to somebody else. And finally, expectations, guys. Do delivery methods and milestones work for them? I know it's getting nice out right now, but even if someone was to award a re-roof to you guys today, how long would it be until you load that project? How long would it be until that new roof is done? Now, I know you're going to say it depends how big the project is, and that's fine. But if you're going to tell me it's going to take you 30 days to be able to load the project and another 60 days to be able to complete the job, that means your customer has 90 days of their current reality right now. Is that okay? And you can't answer that question. Your customer has to answer that question. If not, hey, maybe service is an option, maybe temporary repairs, maybe, I don't know. That's the whole point of this discovery side. Do the miles and methods and milestones work for them? Figure out what it is, because as we went back to the beginning inside this, your customer's reality is what matters, right? Nobody cares about the roof. What we care about is keeping that business safe, keeping that business protected, keeping that business operational. And that's what will put you as a trusted advisor. So I went through all of this. Remember, reason number one is that you have poor discovery. That's why your proposals suck, because the proposals are roofing proposals. They're not solutions to the customer's problem or goal. David, I know I went through a lot inside this. Anything you want to add, sir?
Oh, well, I mean, just other than the fact that, guys, like we say, poor discovery, and we're not just telling you go figure it out. We're telling you exactly what to do in the discovery, so you can actually ensure that your proposal is hitting the marks and hitting the things that they actually care about. If you don't know what they care about, then you can't do that. So it's just we go through this recap, and I know we've done a ton of this in the other sessions, but this recap is key. If you don't, great proposals are set up by good discovery and diagnosis, is what we say all the time. If you're not going to go in there and wax poetic, right? I don't care how much pre-workout you take. You're not going to go in there and say all the sweet, sweet soliloquies and melodies that they want to hear and just, put them on the floor because of your presentation skills. You're only going to do it if your solution is connecting the dots to the things that matter to them, the things that are connected to their emotional state, and the things that are keeping them up at night.
In your vocabulary is advanced on pre-workout. This is incredible.
That's right. That's right. I'm a walking billboard. I'm a walking ambassador for pre-workout right now.
There you go. All right. Reasons number two why your proposal sucks. Your proposal doesn't cut through the noise. And I say that because what happens is when we deliver a proposal, and I know there's some beautiful systems out there that does it, and there's some really cool watermarks you can put on, all that kind of different stuff. But if you guys are delivering a proposal and it looks something like this does not connect them, right? Think about that disconnect that we talked about. This does not tell them how your specific solution solves their problem. What this does is a CYA for you guys to be able to say, we're going to deliver and do these exact things for this exact dollar amount, which is great when it comes down to you guys on the roof, but this does not connect their problem or their goal into specifically how you're doing it. So if this is your presentation, guys, if this is what you're doing to present, is you're having this proposal and you slide it across the table and you look at it and you're all proud that this is where it is, what they're doing, number one, is trying to comprehend your proposal. It's like, all right, 60 mil TPO, all right, there's 3.5 of ISO, da, da, da. That's what they're looking at. And you don't want them thinking about that. That's commoditizing you because everybody can put down 60 mil TPO. Everybody can do this. Everybody can do that stuff, right? That's the minutia that goes in. What they're going to buy is how you guys specifically solve their problem or get them to their goal. That's what they want. So if you're delivering a proposal like this, you have hours worth of hard work and discovery, which is basically completely going down the drain because you're delivering all of the stuff that you did in the form of a roofing proposal that does not make sense. Now, I've already said this a little bit, but you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, which means however you guys are delivering your proposals, however you guys are making that transfer from all of this discovery, I know your problems, I understand your goals, into here's your solution. Here's your custom solution using the proprietary methods that we have to be able to get you to where you want to be. And what I'm really saying is that we have a unique way to be able to solve this. And it's unique because we've done this 25, 30, 100, whatever many times it has been. And every time it's been successful. That is a system. A system is ultimately a series of actions that happen over and over again consistently. That's what I want for you guys. And that's what you guys need in order to be able to scale your business, scale your book of business, is that you guys need to understand what you're doing that's great. And you need to keep doing it. And what you're doing that's not working, we need a way to be able to track that, right? It's like, hey, this is not working. And we need to be able to make small tweaks to that until we improve it. And that's what I say. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You can tell me, hey, I'm going to be we're going to do $10 million this year. That's great. But you're never going to do $10 million if the level you have, right? If the systems that you guys have is not a $10 million system. It's going to break. You're going to have to rebuild it. People are going to leave. People are going to be unhappy. People are going to be overworked, whatever else it comes to. So when we get to this point, what we need to do is make a transition, not from a piece of paper that we're going to slide over the desk, but we have to have a way to be able to summarize all of the work that we've done. Okay. And that comes in a couple different ways. So if you guys are using the one-page discovery sheet, right, which is ultimately the questions connected to those 3 check boxes that we showed you. If you're using that, then you should have consistency to say, hey, I know that when we first met, you guys had a problem that you were having leaks over the foyer or over the main entry, and you weren't able to get it resolved. Is that still right? Yeah, it is. Then we talk about responsibility. We talk about their current reality. All of the questions we ask, we're recapping. Because what I've had happen to me many, many times is that from the time I first met with the customer to the time I delivered a proposal, their mindset of what they thought they wanted had shifted, had changed. Because originally they came in and said that they wanted a high class, super cool, awesome system, right? But by the end of it, they found out what a budget was, and they found out that they didn't have $500,000, and they figured out, holy crap, we got to do something a lot cheaper. And now I got a foam coating roofer that's out there that's going to be able to put a 10-year system on for 1/5 of the price of the TPO system that they asked me for. I'm saying that, and you guys are probably shaking your head. It's like, yeah, this happened. So that's why I'm saying, do not deliver the proposal until you've had a chance to be able to recap all of the work that you've done. You have to have a way to do that. Because if not, you're delivering a proposal based upon the original discovery you did, which on a re-roof side, I mean, service can be quick, right? But on a re-roof side, it can be a month. It can be more than a month from the time it took you to originally discover the opportunity, go through discovery, and then get a proposal that you're going to slide back inside their hands. Do not deliver that proposal until you have completely recapped all of the work that you have done and you are still completely in line with your customer. That is the one thing, right? That little less than begging at this point right now for you guys to be able to increase your sales. Do not deliver the proposal without recapping all of the work that you guys have went through. I'm going to show you how you can easily do it, right? I'm going to show you where you can put all of the information. It's going to cost you guys absolutely nothing because you guys already have access to it. I'm going to show you, how do you get that meeting summary, right? How do you get all of that in a nice way? How do you go through those guided decision-making, right? So we asked the question, priority 1 through 10. Remember we asked that up front? Hey, I know you said it's a 9. Is it still a 9? Is that still one of the highest priorities that you got? Yeah, it is. All right, cool. I know you guys said that you really had no ability to be able to take care of this on your own, and your current vendor's just, he's out. He's not cutting it. Is that still the case? Ask those questions, right? And that's what we said, the guided decision making inside there, because they've already answered those questions. But what we need is to confirm that those are still the variables that are in play. Because all of a sudden, if their roofer came back and he mended the relationship within the 30 days that you've been there, it's a whole different game you guys are playing. Go back in, confirm the information, have a good way to be able to share that information back to them. That's a huge, huge part. Number three, your presentation is inconsistent. Okay. And I say this because I am involved in many, many different roofing companies, and very few of them, it's called a pitch deck, right? Is I'll say probably the most common one, but it's a set of slides, it's a set of documents, whatever it is that you use on presenting to the company. Now, if you have that and you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to say step one, you get one thumbs up, that you at least start to have a consistency. The problem with that is that if you don't have an independent deck for every single solution that you deliver, you're not unique. Because what we've talked about this whole time is how we're a trusted advisor and how we help them solve their specific problem or goal, which means if you guys are going out there and you're fixing leaks, we got to show on how we're an expert there. If you're going up there and you're trying to get more life, you're doing preventative maintenance or maintenance, you got to figure out what makes you great in that. What's your special sauce? If it's liquid membranes, if it's replacements, if it's new construction, it doesn't matter what it is. You cannot position yourself as an expert inside all of those things and be an expert. Because when that happens, you turn into a general contractor, right? Not a roofing contractor, not a roofing repair expert, not a life extending asset, whatever you want to use right inside there. However you want to position yourself, it's got to be unique to their problem. Because if you don't uniquely solve their problem, you're just like, yeah, no, we do all kinds of roofing. We do everything. It doesn't make you an expert. It doesn't separate you to be able to say, we actually specialize in preventative maintenance and bringing roofs back up to a serviceable condition so you can get more life out of it. And here's how we do it. You guys have to be unique, because if you're not, you're going to be commoditized. So let's do this. I'm going to dive in, and I think we should be able to click on this. And I'm going to pull up a workspace that I'll show you guys. So right off the bat, the first thing I'm going to say is that everybody here has access to this. If you have not requested it, shame on you guys. You need to request it. So there's two things that we ultimately require. One is that I would love for you to be able to take this recording, whether it be on Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever it is, and share it. That's the biggest thing that I ask, is that I'm trying to level up all of the sales reps within the commercial roofing industry. And if you guys can share this, I'll get you access to it. And I'll get you access to where you guys can utilize this, create your workspaces, and ultimately use this as a sales tool for you guys. So what I'm going to show you is ultimately what we kind of just went through. When you deliver a workspace, it is separate than a proposal, because your proposal is a document that gives the exact specifications for what you're going to do, right? You're going to tear it off to the deck. You're going to remediate the deck. You're going to put ISO, mechanically attached, blah, 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 whatever it is. That's the confusing stuff that ultimately your customer doesn't understand. Before you deliver that proposal, you have to position yourself to specifically solve their issues, and then they will care about your proposal. Okay? If you do not do that, they will care about your price. They will care about your delay. How fast can you get out here? How cheap can you do it? You have to separate yourself from that, and you have to add value above and beyond that. Value and cost are two different things. Cost is what they pay. Value is what they get. So think about that. If you can go into your book of business right now. So before we jump into this, this is my challenge to everybody on here. Go into your book of business, look at every single opportunity you have. Yes, every single one. What is the problem or goal? If you cannot answer that question, guys, you better get back into discovery right now. Because if you can tell me what the roof deficiencies are, but you can't tell me what the problem your customer has, you're not selling it right. You're selling it as a commodity. You're selling it hoping that maybe it's going to rain tomorrow, the leaks are going to pop back up, and then they're going to call you. Maybe that's going to happen, right? But if you guys want to gain control of your book of business, you have to have a consistent way of solving their problem or helping them get to the goal. So every client you have should have their own unique workspace, right? Dallas Regional Medical Center, this is their workspace. You can customize the photos, colors, all that kind of different stuff. But they need their own unique workspace because they want to feel special, okay? They need to feel special because what you're doing is solving a very unique issue that they have, and you're showing them how you guys do it specifically for that company. It's not hard. It's not crazy to be able to make. The second thing that you have to do is you have to be able to recap. We already talked about this. We call it the problem canvas. So all of the questions that you asked, all you really have to do is ultimately recap them. Recap them. They can come inside here. They can read them. You can read them, whatever it is. As an advisor, if I'm sitting down with them, I'm reading it, right? So it's like, hey, I know hospitals neglected the roof for over 2 years due to COVID, and we're looking to get the building up to a leak-free condition. Is that still the overall objective that we have? Yes. Okay, awesome. Ramon, I know you're responsible for getting the building leak-free, just so you guys can think, and you got to get that approved by the board. So I'm going to get you the proposal, but the board ultimately approves it. And all employees of the hospital are being affected by the leaks. Is that right? No, not entirely. All right. Talk to me. When someone says no, that's a good thing, guys, because that is what is allowing you to be able to realign. Because if I did the information, I took the notes down wrong, or even I typed it wrong, you and that client need to be in exact alignment, complete alignment, right? That's where this helps. If you are wrong, if something is wrong, you have the ability to fix it. You have the ability to be able to realign yourself with the customer and make sure that the proposal they get solves their unique problem or gets them to their goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And I know I keep saying it, guys, but that's what the goal is. What is their unique problem? What is the goal they're trying to solve? Once you figure that out, then you can align, right? How you guys specifically do that. So we can go through current reality, authority, pain, all of that stuff is right down here. Just like I show you that guided decision side, priority, low, medium, high, boom, it's right here. I know this is still a high priority. We mentioned this was a high priority. Is that still right? Yeah, it is. I know your ability level you said was low. Yeah, that's right. I'm confirming all of the information I went through. Doesn't matter if it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. I need to make sure that all of that's right. Because if I deliver a proposal with bad information, then I'm only hurting myself. This is also the way you get away from them saying, hey, I'm going to take it to my boss. I'm going to take it to somebody else, because these questions cover that, right? Who's got the responsibility to be able to do it? It's you, right? I'm going to get you the proposal. You're going to review it. You're going to sign it, right? No? All right, let's talk about that. What's that next level? It allows you guys to be able to be deeper into that. You can customize videos in here. So if you guys did have some type of, kick-ass video about your company or something specifically about how you guys solve roof leaks or whatever it is, tag it in, make it unique. It allows you guys to be able to, again, further customize the experience that your customer is going to get. Really cool things that I've seen done on this side. And then the last part that I'm going to show you is a solution roadmap. Solution roadmap is ultimately a set of questions that allows you to be able to consistently present the company. Okay, present what your solution is. And I don't have to go through all of this, because it doesn't matter if I'm doing it, doesn't matter if you're doing it, doesn't matter if the client is going through it. But it's a set of questions that specifically allow us to be able to cover what needs to happen to bring social proof, to bring customer experience, to bring what should you expect consistently. And this is what I'm talking about. Consistent presentation starts here. So what is our promise? We promise to fix the leaks so you can focus on what matters. Why do we exist? Because too many facility managers tolerate roof leaks. Construction is one of the worst in the industry, and the roof is one of the primary assets for security. I'm reading this. So when you create a long form, it allows you guys to be able to have a very consistent presentation where, one, you don't have to think. That's a beautiful part, at least from my side, because I'm literally just reading it. And I might tag something in, right? So fewer leaks, budgets that actually work. And if I want to tag something and add something to it, great. But my flow, my process is never disrupted, because even if I got on a tangent right here with the customer asking a question, that's okay. So I'm going to go right back. So I know I talked about our track record fixing leaks. Here's what I want to look at. Here's what I'd like to mention to you guys. Boom. Conversation wherever it is. Our methodology is simple. Fix it fast, fix it right, fix it for life. And then we go through and we explain that. So this is a proven long form, guys. What you guys can put on this workspace. I've had sales reps put it on their iPad. So when they sit down with customers, they're able to do a presentation straight from their iPad, but it allows you to be able to consistently present the company, the values, and ultimately the specific solution, right? So what I'm showing you here is specific for leaks. That's all great. But when you take this to the next level, it allows you to be able to do it for replacements, liquid membrane, preventative maintenance, or whatever it might be. you guys have that consistency. And that ultimately is going to be the number one thing that's going to make you guys great or take you from good to great is, again, understanding what you're doing that's working and continuously executing what works. You guys will find what doesn't work. And what doesn't work, guess what? We change, we tweak. But once you guys start operating in a consistent manner like this is ultimately what's going to unlock your guys' true potential, is when you start realizing what do you do that's awesome and keep doing it. David, anything you want to add to this, sir?
No, I think we started this off with nobody cares about the roof, guys. This is a way for you to connect with your buyers in a way that tells them that I get you. Is it Disney, Chad? I think their whole philosophy is we knew you were coming.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know you. I know what you're looking for. Though the best way to communicate that is through the experience. And if we want to open up these PDFs, guys, and these proposals, we've done it. We've done enough reviews on this to watch both of them. The reaction from the prospect is totally different when you're hitting on the things that they actually care about. And then you can talk about the roof as opposed to just talking about the roof and them having to sift through all of that.
And that's a great point, guys, because I haven't got to that point, right? The proposal's here. It's right here. Click the button, proposal opens, it's game on. But I'm not trying to sell a proposal. I'm not trying to sell a roof repair. What I'm trying to do, or what I am doing, is helping them solve the problem or get to the goal that they need to. And I need them to be able to understand what's the unique way that we do this that's going to separate us from every other bidder that they have. If I don't have a way to be able to do that, I become a piece of paper on a stack on a desk. I become an email that's saved or logged. I become ultimately lost in the noise, right? Said that. Doesn't cut through the noise. It's not unique. And if you guys can't consistently present, you're as good as your last presentation. And that's hard. So when it comes to closing jobs, guys, there's 3 questions that you need to ask before you deliver the proposal. Okay. So question number 1, is everyone still aligned to the actual problems causing the current pain? Are we all still aligned? Do we still understand that water on the floor is causing a safety issue? Are we still there? Again, this is not the roof. We've already went through all of that. We've already went through the probing, right? Is everyone still aligned to understanding the actual problems that we're going to be solving? Yes? All right. No? That's perfectly fine too. Let's go back, because before I give them a proposal, we start talking about dollars and scopes of work, we got to make sure that we're both on the same page, solving the same problem. That is a trusted advisor. Same side of the table. Question 2, is everyone still aligned to the expected outcomes if we were to solve the problems? Are we still there? Do we still all see the same future? Right? And is the expected ROI sufficient? And let me be super clear with this. ROI is not the cost of the proposal. Return on investment is the impact once the business goes back to normal. What's the impact when it's disrupted? And we went through this with our questions, right? I mentioned $20,000 for the electrical guy. True number, right? So is this $1,000 repair enough to be able to prevent that $20,000 electrical issue that you had? Question number 3, are we the right solution to solve the current problems and create the desired outcome? That's pretty straightforward. I'm not talking about price. I'm not talking about scope of work or anything else. Do you believe that we're the right solution to be able to solve the problems that you have right now and get you to where you want to be? The yes or no question. If it's no, we need to talk about it. What are we missing? What is someone else doing that we're not? Let's get through that before we dive in specifically to the proposal and start rocking through ultimately the scope of work that is going to, at an extent, commoditize us into everyone else. We've got to separate ourselves from that, guys. And that's what I'm really, really urging you guys to be able to do. Get consistency on how you're presenting, cut through the noise, and do good discovery. And that's going to make a massive, massive difference to when you guys do deliver that proposal that has a bunch of roofing terms on it, a bunch of roofing photos that the client's never seen because the client's never been on the roof. All that can be impactful, but they got to understand how and why you do it, what makes you successful, and what's going to set you apart from everybody else before you deliver that. Because if you deliver that proposal and then think you're going to deliver this presentation afterwards, good luck. They're going to look at your proposal. They're going to judge you based upon what the number is, and you're going to be done. You got the job or you're not. And that's how you win or lose on price. So, David, anything you want to add to this, sir?
No, in one of the questions I got asked in chat, guys, so the comment in chat was, so to confirm, or so reconfirm my position as a trusted advisor by asking the right questions on how I can help them accomplish their goal, making them feel that I am there to guide them through a process that's going to be helpful for the problem that they're experiencing, right? A lot of them, a lot of they. Absolutely. Guys, when you do this approach, it offers an experience that they've never gone through before, and it offers something that they're not used to. And really what it does is it, just like Chad said, when you're ready, when you're fighting like hell to figure this information out so you can put together a plan of action for them, when they don't hit the criteria and you're ready to disqualify them and you're almost taking it away, it creates a compelling reason for them to say, well, whoa, maybe I want to work with you. We want to work with those who are in demand. That's who we want. And we're not telling you to do this so that you can be deceptive and play some mental trick. What we're trying to tell you is that when you're actively collecting this information, when you're drawing everything to a close here at the end, based on the information that you've already collected, you're putting yourself in such a powerful position where right now, for some of you guys here that aren't in our program, you guys are probably experiencing your prospect has all the power. That sucks. It's a painful position to be in when you're trying to close out your month and they won't respond to your emails and they won't answer your questions and you have no idea what's going on as you're trying to fill out your projections as your boss is coming to the CEO, your sales leader is coming to you saying, where are you going to finish? Where are you going to end up? This completely switches the power dynamic in a way that serves them better and in a way that ultimately serves you. So it's a win, 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 guys. Just get in there and do it.
All right, guys. We've utilized all of our time. If you guys have questions, I know there was a handful of stuff coming through the chat. So if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to David or I. Be happy to do some one-on-ones with you guys or get you the information that you need. So you, again, continue to be able to raise that floor and get you where you need. Appreciate everyone joining. We'll see you next week. And yeah, go have a great week, guys. Appreciate it.
See you guys.